Good morning, my dear yogis, and welcome to this gentle prenatal yoga class. Today we're going to focus a little bit on the hip area. As you know, hip openers are a very important part of your yoga practice, especially when you're pregnant, to prepare your lower body for delivery and for your future baby. For the class today, you might need 2 blocks, a blanket and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, don't worry, a big pillow or 2 might be enough, or a cushion. Just check what works for you to create that space. When I didn't have my bolster, I used like 1, 2, even 3 cushions. So remember, your comfort is the most important, because when you're happy, also your little one is happy as well. So let's begin. First, we will start in a nice and comfortable sitting position. I usually use a block or a bolster to sit more comfortably, so please choose props of your needs. Today I'm gonna choose that bolster. So when you found yourself sitting, cross your legs, or maybe you keep them parallel with your bolster in between the legs. Check what works for you. Then press your hands down your thighs, lifting and stretching your whole spine area. Roll your shoulders a few times, maybe roll your neck as well, to find a nice and open space in your heart and shoulders. Then draw your shoulders down, reaching your crown to the sky. And close your eyes and bring your hands on your belly. One hand under the belly button, another one over. And for a few seconds, focus on your breath. Find a deep belly breathing. When you inhale, feel your belly moving forward, pressing the inner organs, pressing your diaphragm down. You might feel slightly fuller and bigger, which is completely normal. And then with an exhale, find out how gently your belly moves toward the midline, releasing your stress, releasing any disturbing thoughts. Try to focus on your breath only. Maybe you feel your little one kicking. You can smile to him or her, sending loving and kindness energy, sending health and wellness. After a while, change your hands, so the one that was under the belly button goes up and up goes down. And stay here for a few deep breaths. And after those deep breaths, lift your hands together and touch them in front of the chest. Take a nice and deep inhale, stretching your spine. And with an exhale, bow your chin to the chest or your mind to your heart. And set up an intention, again, of health, love, and wellness to your future little one that you're growing inside your belly. Feel how little shining seed goes down, stretching and protecting the little one inside you. And then to start our moving practice, let's chant one Om. If you're not familiar with chanting, you can simply listen to my voice. Let's inhale together. Om. And then slowly blink open your eyes, rising your gaze. And slowly let's move to your hands and knees. You can put your hands in front, your feet back, or then if you're sitting perpendicularly, simply find yourself more comfortable in the front. If your knees are not super comfortable in this position, you can grab your blanket. I love my blanket under the knees. My knees are actually very, very sensitive. And then very, very slowly bring your hands shoulder width wide, your knees hip width wide. You can tuck or untuck your toes. And spend few moments with a cat and cow. Inhale, draw your shoulders closer, lifting head and tailbone up to the sky, arching your whole spine down. And with an exhale, the opposite. Arch your whole spine up. I like to wiggle here a little bit, drawing my belly button in, stretching shoulder blades away from each other. Inhale and exhale. Keep your fingers wide apart, the balls of your wrist pressing into the mat. Your elbows, creases, moving, slightly bent behind you. If you're experiencing some carpal tunnel syndrome, you can move your hands slightly closer front, then it's less pressure on them. So much easier for your wrists. And now come to your natural spine, your hands and knees. Move your hips to your right side and also draw your right ear closer to those hips, making a little side bend. Stretching your whole left side, great. And then inhale, move back to your front, and the same thing on the second side. Draw your left hip to the left, your left ear toward it. Yes, stay here for a minute. Actually for a moment, not for a minute. And come back to your front, and we can make it also a vinyasa. Exhale, bend to your right. Inhale, move forward. Exhale, bend to your left and forward. One more time, right and left. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Great. And as the last thing to warm up, start to wiggle a little bit, moving your hips in a circular motion. Add your head and shoulders as well. That will help you to fully warm up your whole spine. And then move back to your hands and knees. For the next asana, I might use my blocks to be slightly higher. That is helping me to create more space inside the belly. Stretch your right leg behind you. Find one line throughout your body from the heel to your crown. And now with an exhale, move your knee to your right elbow and step your foot forward, but on the external side of your mat, close to the long edge of that mat. And tuck the toes behind you and make few circles to warm up your hips. I personally love it. I do it even on my gentle yoga, my vinyasa flow classes. I think that our hips and our groins are so tense due to sitting for a longer time that it's good to give it that juicy movement. Very good. And now start moving your chest forward and slightly back. Maybe you can even stretch your front knee fully. Try to keep your spine straight. If you start to round your back moving backwards, then it's better to go slightly less, but keep it nice and easy. Stretch your lower back, move your crown forward, keep your shoulders wide apart. If you feel some noises nearby, let me tell you, it's my cat playing with his toys. Yeah, very good. And now, very easy, when you're front, move your weight to the right hand. Place your left hand on your heart. So basically the right leg is front, right hand holds all the weight, your left hand on your heart, and lift your elbow up for a little twist. Very good. And release. Your hand goes down. Press your hands in. Come to your hands and knees, and let's do a few cat and cows, because as you remember, in the second and third trimester we can't go on the belly anymore. Okay, let's do second side. Stretch now your left. Moving now your foot on the external side of your left hand, and make few circles, warming up the hip joint. Be very gentle, find that juicy sensation, warming up sensation inside the hip socket. And then few other way around. And then front and back. Again, try to keep your chest wide, your spine pretty straight, maybe holding your belly button slightly in. If you can't fully stretch your leg, like my leg was injured long time before, so I don't do a full stretch in that hip and leg area, and it's completely normal. Don't worry, we are not very, I would say, even creatures right and left. Very good. And then move forward, sink your hips down. It will give you a super nice opening sensation in the right groin. And then slowly shift the weight to your left hand. So the same hand as your knee is bent front, right hand on the chest, and lift your elbow up, gently twisting. And as you see, it's not a very big twist. I don't ask you to move your arm or take it around you. It's just a very, a little hip opener, more than a twisting exercise, yeah. And release your hand down, move your knee back next to the right one. You can tuck or untuck your toes. And again, 2 or 3 little cat and cow, not child's poses, to fully warm up. Then come to your hands and knees, walk your knees slightly wider, tuck your toes, and bring the belly button in as much as it feels comfortable. I know we won't suck it all in, but it's just to protect your lower back. Walk your blocks closer, or your hands, if you're not using blocks, closer to your feet, and now press the weight on your legs, keeping them pretty wide apart. And now you can walk your hands closer, so we're in this forward fold position. Press your hands on your thighs, then give yourself a little lift over here, and again a kind of like cat and cow position. We don't want to move all the way down, but with an inhale, bend your knees slightly more, lift your chest, face your gaze forward. Oh, my cat is really crazy today. Exhale, you can stretch your legs, arch your spine into like a, as I said, little cat and cow. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Great. And exhale. Beautiful. Then come through that inhale, long spine. Move your weight slightly backwards and then lift your arms all the way up. You can clasp your fingers. Give yourself a little stretch throughout your whole body. And then release your hands down, standing tall in your Tadasana. For your next asanas, it's going to be a few standing ones. We won't need all the blocks and blankets, just one block. You can move your blanket on the side and then keep at least one block on its highest height, somewhere in front. Then walk forward, so you're in the front of your mat. Place your hands together. Gently shift your weight to your right leg and lift your left. And then rotate it externally for a tree pose, placing your foot on your thigh or maybe on your shin or even ankle. I will highly suggest not to lift and press your foot higher. That will take you away from your inner balance. Now find again one line from your heel up to your crown. You can smile as you find yourself reaching upwards, finding yourself even taller. And then lift your hands overhead. Again, try to keep your shoulder blades together, opening the front of your heart. And gently bend forward and step that left foot behind you. The front knee, the right knee is bent over your ankle. You can stay here for a few breaths. If your arms up high are not super comfortable, bring them forward or even move all your chest forward if that creates any kind of tension in your spine, in your belly, or in your hips. What is the most important is to keep your tailbone facing down. That will nicely open your left groin. Very good. And now place your hands on your hips. I know I'm gonna be facing backwards. Stretch your front leg and change the angle of your foot behind, of your left. Finding yourself in a Trikonasana, or preparing for a Trikonasana. Before we do it, wiggle your hips front and back slightly. And now send your hips back, your sit bones backwards. Gently lean forward, trying to keep that one line in your whole spine. If you feel any tension in your front leg, you can slightly bend your knee and then move down until you feel comfortable, pressing your hand on the shin or maybe a block that you can press in between. Find your chest moving forward and lift your left arm up towards the sky. Very good. If that seems easy for you, you can even take your hand and press it on your lower back or tuck around the front thigh. Find yourself having few breaths over here. And then gently bend your front leg. I would highly suggest to press your elbow against the knee and make a full circle, or actually a half circle, your arm moving forward. Yeah, find one line throughout your whole spine, back leg and your arm up there, and then lift with your knee bent forward, warrior two. Beautiful. And then gently stretch your leg. Press your hands on your hips. If you are using a block, you can press it away. Lift your back heel, find yourself in a high lunge position. Gently shift forward, lift that leg and find yourself again in a tree pose, maybe with your hands in front of the chest. Take a deep inhale, and with an exhale, move your foot down. So as you see, it's a pretty nice and easy, gentle flow that we need in our daily living. Let's do second side now. So gently shift your weight to the left, lift your right knee, that's pretty important, and then rotate it to the side, but not completely to the side, more or less in a diagonal position. That will keep your hips facing forward and your whole body being more centered. Find again that nice growing sensation from your heel to the crown and lift your arms overhead. Very good. Your shoulder blades drawn together as you're reaching up high. And again, step that right leg behind you, bending your left over ankle. So again, you might feel a nice stretchy sensation in your groin, tailbone facing down. Your core is nicely aligned with your belly. You can stretch your arms a bit wider apart or even move them slightly forward. Maybe your chest will go forward as well. It's also a very nice pose to stretch your calf if you're having a lot of cramps, especially overnight, just like I do. Yeah, very good. And then bring your hands on your hips, stretch your left or the front leg. Change maybe the angle of your back foot so you're more facing long side of the mat, and wiggle your hips front and back to find more opening sensation inside your hips. Yeah. And now send your sit bones back behind you. Lean your heart forward as much as it feels comfortable. Try to be as close to the center as possible so you're not moving your bum behind you, your chest over the front leg. If that is hard for the knee, a micro bend will make a difference. And then press your hand on the shin, or maybe use again a block for additional height and support. Remember that you can use also your fist to be more comfortable, or maybe go just on your fingertips if you want to hold that pose with your internal muscles. And lift your right arm up over your head, finding one line in your arms. Very good. Look up, or maybe take that arm behind you on your lower back, or maybe even tuck around your front thigh. Check what works for you. Very good. And then slowly bend your front knee over ankle, elbow on top, make a half circle with your upper arm. Find one line from your back leg, right side of the chest and your arm. Don't worry if it's not fully straight. It happens that we have a bit less strength and more mobility in the joints, so it's easier for us to bend more, but not to hold the pose so much. Yeah, very good. And then come back into warrior two. Very good. Your chest up high, your legs open, one line in your arms and legs. And then stretch your leg fully. If you're using a block, move it on the side, grab your hips and lift your back heel, bending your leg forward, high lunge, and then gently lean forward. Take that leg back into tree pose, maybe hands together in front of your chest. And then release your foot down. Very good. Just to release all the tension that we did throughout the practice, step with your feet slightly wider apart. And now start to gently swing your arms to one and second side. Yeah, very good. We don't want to shake too much. Usually I would shake after a physical practice. And then you can start to move your hips with you. Maybe lift the opposite heel up. Very good. And And then make that movement slower and slower until you find yourself moving very gently and then even completely stop. Move your heels, and toes slightly wider so you're like in a big triangle position. Now a bit of a strengthening exercise. We're gonna do some goddess pose. With an inhale, reach your arms up over your head, and exhale, bend your elbows, opening your chest, but also move your knees over your ankles, opening your knees wide apart. Maybe you can even go parallelly to the floor. And then release your hands on your thighs and then press on the opposite one, stretching your hips. That's what we do instead of malasana. And then press your heels down, lift your arms in a circular motion up. And again, goddess pose. Maybe you can draw your hips lower. Yes, stay here. Hands down. And now press a little bit on your inner thighs to open. Belly has nice space over here. And then move into the front. Press your heels, lift your arms one last time. Inhale and exhale, goddess pose. And now if you feel that you want to work out on your muscle strength, you can bounce for a few times. Or if not, again, hands down and press one by one. Moving your opposite shoulder to the front. And then lift. Touch your hands and bring them to your heart center. And now toes and heels to come closer to your middle. Now we slowly go down to the sitting positions. So I would highly suggest to go to the rear of your mat. Give yourself a wider stand. And then very slowly bending and softening your knees. Roll your whole spine down. Then walk your hands to the front, coming to hands and knees. Sit to one side and stretch your feet front. Our next position, it's a very nice heart opener. You're gonna need your blocks or something more sturdy. Bend your right leg. I'm gonna show you with a little angle that's easier for you. And then release your knee down on the mat. If you need some more support under the knee, then you can grab your blanket, highly recommend, and your block behind the knee that is bent. So in my case, left leg is fully stretched, my right one is bent, so I'm putting that block behind my right hip. So it's easy to reach for it. Very good. And now with your next inhale, lift your arms up, moving your chest toward the leg, gently bend forward, reaching your heart forward, and then you can grab your shin, your ankle, or your toes, and gently release your upper back. Imagine opening the back of your heart. And then use your muscles to lift your arms again up overhead. Press your right one on that block and then reach your left behind you, lifting your hips into a little and very easy wild thing pose. Use your muscles to come back up, lift your arms, and again, bend forward. Maybe you're gonna go deeper down. And then lift your arms overhead, right one on the block, and reach behind you. And one last time, lift your right arm, bend forward. Then come back up. As you see, it's slightly faster. Lift your hips, arm behind you. Oops, I was going away from my blanket. and move back into sitting. Maybe close your eyes, check how you feel. For some, that might be a very intense sensation. So now let's change the sides. I don't want you to see my back, so I'm gonna move to the other side. So again, keep your blanket nearby, get your left leg and release the knee on the side. Try to keep your foot flexed and your block. Press it behind your left hip, or the same hip as your leg is bent. And now reach your arms up overhead and then reach forward, moving your heart toward the knee. Maybe grab again shin, ankle, your toes and release. Arch your spine. Open the back of your heart. And now reach up overhead, left hand on the block, press, lift your hips, stretch your arm behind you, wild thing, and release. Arms up, inhale, exhale, bend forward. Again, stay here for a breath or two. And then lift, arms up, left behind you, and your right one over your head, reaching your hips up. And the last one slightly faster. Inhale, exhale, and then inhale and exhale. Great. Come back down. Again, close your eyes. Find how you feel after that little flow. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes and raise your gaze. And for the last asana, we're gonna use Supta Baddha Konasana, or the Reclined Goddess Pose. Super nice to open your hips in a very gently, almost in a passive condition. For that one, you might need your bolster and block, one block that you put behind you. If your bolster is very soft and it goes down, then you can use 2 blocks. You can use just 1 pillow, just make like a slight slope. By the way, if you're in your 3rd trimester, so 27 weeks and more, you might need a bigger angle because you need to be at least in a 30 degrees angle. So for that one, you might be opting for your middle and the highest height to be as high as possible. This is the version I'm going to show you today because it's pretty important. It's easier when it's lower down. It's slightly harder when it's higher to make it nice and stable. So what I do is to keep the very back of my bolster or my pillow or cushion on the edge and on the highest height, then the middle one pretty close, because in the front, if your bolster is firm like mine, it's very easy. The floor gives a very nice support, but at the back there is less support. Then when I make my slope, I gently press to see if it's not moving and falling apart like it just did. And then I try to redo it. Maybe that middle block should be like a bit lower. Here I press, check, now seems better, but it's not perfect. Yeah, now seems good. Then you sit in front of that bolster. By the way, if you have your blanket, you can roll it nicely, creating like a pipey kind of thing. Then sit behind. First lower your lower back on that bolster and then your head. Walk your feet pretty close and lower them to the sides. And with that little blanket, I like to keep it over here, maybe tucking the ends under my hips so they're not opening too much. There is this nice sensation of like stretching, but in a passive way, in a very gentle way. Hands on the side or maybe on your belly, and close your eyes. I personally love this asana. It's the one that I can do day and night when I'm sick, when I'm not sick, when I'm super stressed and not stressed that much. It really helps me throughout my practice. And stay here as much you need, few breaths or few minutes. Restorative asanas, they actually work better the more you stay in them. And as I said, you can stay more in this position, but if you would love to go into your Shavasana, then first lift your legs one by one. Maybe take your props from underneath and very gently move to one side, rolling to that side, and lift. And for Shavasana, if you're less than 25 weeks and you feel very comfortable lying on your back, you can just find yourself lying on your back with a bolster under your knees or maybe under your neck. Check what's comfortable for you. If you're more than 25 weeks, especially 27 weeks and more, then you need to do Shavasana on your side to be more healthy for the baby, not to press the Vina Cava. For that, you will need your bolster or cushion that will go in front of you, in between your legs. To support your head, you can use a block if it's very nice and foamy like this one, or a block with a blanket on top if it's not that comfortable or if it's not high enough. Sometimes I also use my elbow bent and my head on top. So, take your bolster on your left knee, your right knee over, and then very slowly go onto that side. You can stretch your arm or keep it slightly bent. Find a comfortable position. Sometimes people say it's nicer to stretch that lower leg on your mat. Check what works for you. I personally love it when my belly is pushing against that bolster, but I know for some people it's not that nice. Some people really love it when their knees are stuck together. So really check what works for you. Like, our bodies are so much different. And then slowly close your eyes. Find yourself comfortable however you are. Maybe take a few of those deep belly breathings. Now your chest and spine is supported, so you can investigate in the deep belly breathing, pressing your inner organs, your baby away from the center, and then moving towards the center in a super gentle fashion. And after a while, you can slowly start to deepen your breath. Maybe stretch your arms and legs like you're waking up from a very nice nap. Tuck your elbows closer to you and press your hands and your elbows down to slowly come lifted. Move your bolsters and other props away, finding a comfortable seat, maybe wiggling for the last moment or two. And then slowly press your hands in front of the chest. Find a way to stretch and lengthen the spine, and with an exhale, bow your chin to the chest or your mind to your heart. Check with your baby if it feels comfortable inside your womb. And for a closure, let's chant one Om together, as you usually can listen or chant with me. Let's inhale together. And then slowly blink open your eyes and rise your gaze. And thank you so much for this yoga class. I hope you feel great. I hope your baby feels great, just like mine does. And see you next time on the mat. Hari Om Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Bye bye.